Here I am. Anybody out there? Hmm. Hey there. Hey, Evan. How you doing, Heath? Thanks for stopping by. I'm trying to set up my tablet. I didn't expect it to be so difficult, but it is. Tough getting a fire going tonight, too. I forgot everything was wet from the ice storm we had yesterday. Almost set myself on fire trying to get this sucker going. But it's going now, so. Hey, Cody. How are you? Good to see you. I'm just telling everybody I almost set myself on fire trying to get this going because everything was wet. I had sparks all over the yard. Can you see me? There I am. Hey, Tegan, how are you? Everybody, I would like to introduce you to Tegan Alexandra Osman. Tegan, this is pretty much everybody you're going to see and hear are part of an outdoor community called the fire department. Yeah, like they'll come. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They're pretty good here. It's the cops you got to worry about. But anyhow, Tegan, pretty much everybody you see in here, Cody, Evan, Heath, they're all part of this amazing outdoor community that I found about a year or so ago. And I came by them through Geo Outdoors, who hopefully might show up tonight. And I've just had a blast with these people. I've had such a good time. And boy, if you want to learn anything about the outdoors, from fishing to, oh no, I didn't mean that, Cody. I didn't mean anything against you. I'm talking about the PD in my town. So yeah, you're gonna if you ever wanted to hit any of these people up, I'm not saying you have to or anything, but if you want to learn anything about trapping, fishing, hunting, you name it, these guys have got it covered. They're awesome. Really awesome. I know, Cody. Well, we actually did have a problem recently. We've got some obnoxious neighbors. Hey, there's Gio right there. He's the guy who's responsible for dragging me into this group. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. Actually, Gio is Greg, and when he was Gio out bushcraft and outdoors, oh God, it must have been a year and a half ago, I stumbled across his channel, and he was out picking what do you call it, fiddleheads out in the forest, and then it just kind of rolled out from there. And everybody, I want to introduce you to Tegan Alexander Osman. Especially in these times, she is a great channel to check out, and she just offers a lot of support and can give a lot of great explanations for the reason people are acting the way they are today. And it's really a shame. Hey, Greg, did you when you did your live stream yesterday from the truck, did you guys get that ice storm? Because man, we got whacked, and my poor brother had an accident up on Route 84, and he's kind of not exactly happy about his tires. I'm not either. In fact, this was last year was the first year I could not buy brand new tires, and I absolutely love Michelin, and that's what I wanted. So I'm kind of nursing the ones that I have. I don't even want to admit to what the brand is of the tires I have right now, but they came with the car when I bought it in April. But yeah, the poor guy, he gets up on 84 and he doesn't have too far to go, and he could feel it right away. And what they're supposed to do with Route 84 here in New York is, oh, thanks so much. Oh, anytime, Tegan. You've helped me a lot. And then, watching your channel helps bring up others that are similar. And I have gone to some of the ones that you've suggested. And they've been a good help because, we can think so much when we get busy. And but it's great to have people like you because you help sort of put a magnifying glass on it. At least I like that. I like to know what makes people tick and what makes them act the way they do. And Cody, and your job, you could probably appreciate that because you have to have some sort of anticipation about the way people are gonna do their thing. But anyhow, back to my poor brother. I was just about stopping for lunch, and I got his text, and I said, "Oh, shoot, the poor guy." But what they're supposed to do with Route 84 in New York State is they're supposed to close it down early if we get ice like that, and then they're supposed to either do the liquid salt, which I did not see this time. I didn't see it anywhere, and or they're supposed to sand and salt, and they didn't do that. So my brother gets off the ramp and he gets into lane. He's like, "This isn't going to be good." And the person in front of him, almost at his exit, had a blown out tire that he didn't know about. So when they started to slow down well under the speed limit, he had to slow down too. Well, he started to lose control of his car, and he went to turn the wheel to go into the left-hand lane, but he couldn't. He couldn't really do that without, he was just trying to let the car perform the way it was supposed to, and he had no choice but to. Well, he didn't want to, but he hit their driver's side rear end, unfortunately. And of course, it was like an 11-year-old Toyota Corolla. He had it paid off, and it just, these cars nowadays, you just tap them, and you're going to lose like 5 panels at least, and you're probably going to bend the frame. So he decided, he was in the car business for years and years, and he decided himself that car was was finished. And so I went out and I picked him up. And I tell you, there was like a line in the sand as I was traveling out. It was only a 15-minute ride, but everything was fine until I got to the certain point within 5 minutes of where he was, and it was a sheet of ice. There were accidents everywhere. If you hit a gopher, it's 5,000 in damage. Yeah, at least. Tell me about it. I remember when I had my 77 Corolla, I used to run over geese, and not on purpose, because sometimes they just get in the way, and gophers, woodchucks, whatever. And yeah, the car didn't even feel it. It just made mincemeat of it. But nowadays, I'm kind of falling behind here. People are crazy as about, people say. You got that right. Tegan, did you happen to see your latest video? I left a link for a video that I was watching today that is a very good take on what we're dealing with right now. And I've been looking at it as a mental illness, and I guess it is. But the way this woman explained it, her name is Amazing Polly. She's not on YouTube anymore because she does great news. And, well, she's not accepted here anymore. But she is on Rumble, and she explained this as how does she explain it? As a hysterical, emotional trauma for most people, which is really too bad. Maria Saha, hello, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Oh, shoot, I should do that. I haven't done that in a while. Where'd my phone go? I wasn't really going to do a fire tonight, but I thought, we're going to have a snowstorm overnight, And I set things up today so that I could work from home tomorrow because I'm going to have to get up and fire up the snowblower, which I also neglected last fall. Every October, I have traditionally tuned up the snowblower, make sure it's running, and it doesn't have that many hours on it. Even as a 10-year-old machine, the snowblower, make sure it's running. Let me get rid of the sound. Sorry, I'm still fumbling my way through this when I try to figure this. You didn't see the link? As a 10-year-old machine. Yeah, okay, I got the sound down. Okay, so I need to make mods. Add moderator. Geo, you're blue. I'm going to make everybody blue if you don't mind, because I think that's the best way to avoid the crap artist out there. Oh, hey, Cody, I got a phone call just before I went online. It was an automated police. Hey, the truth. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. I'm sitting. Oh, are you, Maria? That's cool. Are you inside or outside? Because I'm outside, sitting on the wet grass. The only thing I have between me and the wet grass is the some paper bags, which is probably not a smart thing to do. So if I go up in flames, I'm probably going to have the most views of any live stream you've ever seen. Cody, back to what I was saying. Just before I went online, I got this phone call, and it was an automated, um, uh, they were looking for money for the Policemen's Association, and basically how it started was he just said, "Is this Sheldon?" And that's my last name, and I thought, okay, I'm going to play along. I said yes, and you could tell by the break between my answers, the weight, it was a definite a robocall. But the guy, it was like set up to sound like it was an actual policeman, like calling from the office, which I thought was kind of strange. I've never heard that before. I used to give all the time when I lived upstate, because when we got where's Evan? There he is. We used to get a lot of jailbreaks when I lived up around oh, you've heard of those? Yeah, I kept saying to myself, you should just hang up, but I thought, well, this might actually be kind of fun. Let me see how this actually works. So, he's asking me, how much do you want to give? 30, 50, 70, something like that. And I was like, I don't know. I'll decide when I get the envelope, because that's what they say. They say, we're going to send you an envelope, and, please put your money in it and send it to us. I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I used to give a lot, like I said, when I lived up in Delaware County in New York, because of the jailbreaks up there. Man, I tell you what, they were on them like flies on shit. They didn't waste any time getting these guys back. I mean, in upstate New York, well, 30 years ago, if you broke out of jail, depending on what time of the year it was, chances are your survival rate wasn't going to be the greatest, unless you were able to find something amazingly accommodating. But everybody up there at the time, 30 years ago, everybody had a shotgun behind the door anyway. So I think I got the moderators all set. The truth, do you want to be a moderator? The only reason I'm asking is because the more eyes watching, the better. A lot of deaf people in Nigeria now. Well, let me, yeah. You know what else thinks about that? I switched to Verizon back in November, and it's fantastic service, but um, the billing got messed up because I wanted to change my billing date, and I wanted to do auto pay, and then I found out I could get a nice big fat discount as a student. And every time you call, it could be somebody in another country. And I got one day that, man, if I could have reached through the phone and strangled her. Got service for a few. What do you mean, Evan? What did you? Oh, I think I was just talking about the Cody mentioned uh, the deaf people in Nigeria calling him at all times, and I was saying that when you call Verizon to talk to a CSR, customer service rep, chances are it's somebody in another country. Okay, I missed something. Went right over my head. Yeah, Gio, I don't know if you heard my question before, but when you were doing your live stream from the truck, did you guys get that ice storm yesterday? Like we did? The one that took out my brother? Damn it all. Pisses me off. Poor guy. Yes, and they charge you $10. Hey, Raquel, how are you? What's going on? Out here sitting by the fire that almost set me on fire earlier because I forgot everything was wet as I'm trying to get it going. Because I don't have a shredder. When my shredder died, I just started burning paper. Don't tell anybody because somebody might get pissed off at, you know, climate change. Um, and it's all our fault, damn it. Did anybody notice? I mean, I've been looking at. I grew up watching contrails, but in the last couple of years, and I'm sure it's been going on longer, when the sun comes up in the morning and it's beautiful, just look at the sun and watch what happens. You're going to see these what they're calling chemtrails in front of the sun, and then by noon it's cloudy and we've got a white sun again. It's so annoying. Oh, you didn't get it? Okay, we were going to get snow tonight. Yeah, we're supposed to get 3 to 6 inches. Evan said, when I said I couldn't stay, it's because I have bad phone service. I'm sorry, Evan. Man, I know what that's like. When I was going to school with bad service, it was a nightmare. I was sitting in my car outside of freaking Starbucks or the library just trying to catch a signal so I could get my assignments done. And then I finally just went for broke and picked up with Verizon because I had Sprint and they were pretty good. And then in June they switched. They were taken over by T-Mobile. And I tell you what, if I had any pull in the FCC, I would shut down T-Mobile. They are the worst. They should not be in the communications business. I mean, they're just a joke. Oh, so back to my brother's accident. The state trooper he said was really funny. He said people were when he was taking him down to the McDonald's, so he'd have a warm place to stay. When the flatbed came to take his poor Corolla away, people were speeding by him, and the state trooper is going, "Slow the f down." So, Arkansas woodcutter, hello. I saw you come in before, and I'm busy yammering. You said at 7:16, you said strangled me. What the hell does that mean? I miss things so much. I get my brain set at work all the time, and even when I like stop at a store or something, and somebody says something to me, it's like, wait a minute, that's not work related. So sometimes it takes me a while to shift gears. So I don't know if anybody can see it, but my friend went to Canada over Thanksgiving, and she brought me back. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's a coonskin cap from Canada, and I was really happy. Oh, mobile hotspot was disconnected. We might have a problem here. Let's hope not. Yeah, so she brings me back this beautiful coonskin cap, which I'm wearing tonight because I'm sitting outside and it's so warm that it keeps my hands warm. Believe it or not. And but I said to her, I said, how the heck am I supposed to wear that in New York? They're gonna spray paint me. No worries, you were strangling over. Yeah, yeah. When I was trying to get my bill straightened out with Verizon, Arkansas woodcutter, I mean, she just went back. The first bill is always the highest, and she goes back to that, and I'm like, no, no, no. I'm talking about like the Orange County tax, and there was like the pseudo bill in December that ended up on the January one, and I wanted to know if I could pay that. And she kept going. She went back to the first bill, which was long since paid for, like 2 times. And I said, hold on a minute, please listen to me. And she started screaming. I mean, screaming at me. So I was just in that mood. So I screamed back at her. I hung up on her. She called me back twice. She called me back twice while I was driving. And I had actually stopped to get gas, and I had to put some air in a tire. So I had a few moments sitting still. And yeah, she called me back twice to try to yell at me. So, you wait a while, and maybe you wait until the next day, and then you get to talk to somebody else. And the next person who I talked to, I reported the woman who was screaming at me. And she said, we will definitely listen to that phone call. I said, oh, you're gonna have fun with that. I told her, I said, get the supervisors in on it, because you're all gonna get a good laugh, because it was hilarious. Hey, Mark the Coyote. What was I calling it? Not the Coyote Ninja. Oh, it was something from Star Wars. Geez, I can't think of it. Oh, Tegan said something a little sooner, but man, you are cleaning up. I'm working on a career change right now, and I'm hoping by November, December of this year, I'll be able to have time to go out there and try to get me 20 coyotes, because the place where I hunt, I mean, there are no rabbits on the ground. You don't see any squirrels. Yeah, it could be the hawks too, but I mean, I was doing a survey out there this past summer, and I practically stepped on a coyote that was running in front of me that had a rabbit in its mouth. So I man, I could have been hunting that rabbit in October. Tegan said, I mean, have a great. Thank you, Tegan. I tried to. I try not to be neurotic about stuff, and seem to deal with stress so well. Your head, how you do it sometimes. Well, you had asked me once what I suggested for supplements, and I mean, you can take some, but I try to get it from the food. And like I said, I have these farmers that I go to, and I get grass-fed, pasture-raised food, and it's just fantastic. Oh, Mark J. Larson is the Coyote Jedi. That's what he is. He is a coyote exterminator extraordinaire. And like I said on your last video, I mean, I really got to wonder how big that pack was. Or do you think, well, you're doing a couple of properties, so it must be 2 of them, but I mean, you're knocking them, literally knocking them dead. It's awesome. Oh, thank you, Evan. Evan is like one of my biggest fans, mate. He's so cool. You all are. It's the Mutual Admiration Society. Not participating in this crap. Well, I'm sorry if you were offended, Arkansas Woodcutter. I hope it wasn't something I said. Oh, Cody's leaving us, or he already left? I'm behind. All right, Cody, thanks for stopping in. Go do what you got to do. Oh, I think I know what you mean, Arkansas Woodcutter. Yeah, I hear you. I try not to get too much into that. Evan, man, you're awesome. Thank you, honey. Tegan, I don't know if you're seeing all this, but you see what these people are like? I mean, and in this time, the timing couldn't have been perfect to find these people, because I mean, I don't always have time to watch everybody's video, and I have to admit, sometimes I speed them up a little bit so I can get through more of them, but they're just the most down to earth people, and it's just wonderful. Evan, I'm kind of a nerd, and it's a little embarrassing sometimes, but thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes I feel like my videos are like watching paint dry. I got one coming out tomorrow about what's in my gear bag, the gear that I carry. And there's this one, if you get a chance to watch it, that would be awesome. But there's this survival kit that was given to me many, many years ago. Oh, yeah, no, Arkansas woodcutter. I know it's got nothing to do with a V, or the fauchine or whatever. I mean, it's bad, and this has been. I don't want to get too detailed with it because I'm trying not. I really don't want this channel to be too political, but it's a it's been in the works for so long. I think this goes back to the Knights Templar, to be perfectly honest. And we hear about. I don't want to say too much, but if anybody's interested in finding out about who is at the crux of all this, look up the Quant family. Quandt. I believe that's the name. Oh God, no, I love you. Oh, Evan. Evan's so cool. I have a ow, Jesus. See, I told you I was gonna set myself on fire. Um, oh, so in this video tomorrow that's coming out about my gear bag, I put it up anyways, but when I looked at it, I was because I gained a lot of weight in 2020, when the GOV apostrophe T tried to starve most of us out. I put on a lot of weight just in case things really, really hit the fan. So in this video tomorrow, the camera is on an angle where it shows off my double chin, and I watched it a couple of times before I posted it, and I thought, do I really want everybody to have to look up at my double chin? But the pieces in my bag are very interesting, and the one survival kit, there's a link in the description for it. It was given to me by a friend who lived an extraordinary life, and she died about 8 years ago. She was my senior by about 15 years, and I met her towards the end of her life. She was actually from a pretty amazing family. She was in the society books at one time, and she helped write a survival book with the heck was his first name? Angier. Angier wrote a lot of Euphoric Glitter, Arkansas Wood. If I did, I think I'd be a little concerned. What have you been eating? I want what he's drinking. If the screen seems like it's moving, it's because I have to hold the tablet because I didn't. The last time I did one out here, it was with the iPad and it sat on the little garden table a little better. Eat unicorns? Yeah. I'm gonna start eating unicorns for breakfast because I'm sick and tired of this crap. I have no more freaking patience left. I mean, it's just friggin' ridiculous. Consider it. Evan, do you want to go there? I can't wait to see this one. Yeah, yeah. This little survival kit is really cool. But yeah, this woman who had given it to me, she saw the one that I had, and it was kind of a big one, and I sort of explain it in the video. But this woman told me about the cargo cults in the Congo. Tom Tom Ritter and I have had some conversations about that because I thought he would know about them, but he didn't, so I had to explain it. But the cargo cults are people in they're the people who ate, what's his name? Was it one of the Limburgs or was it one of the Kennedys who went down south into South America and they ate them, or it's suspected that they ate them. A cargo cult happens when the CIA was dropping supplies to these people in the jungle, and they had no knowledge of airplanes or anything. So when the airplane flew over and dropped these wooden crates full of whatever supplies were in them, I guess food, probably T-shirts that said, "Kiss" on them or something. Who knows? This is back in the 60s and 70s. I believe they're still doing it. They they had, like I said, an airplane was like something from outer space to them. So they got their name Cargo Cult because they would take the packing crate and build like a statue or like a god to the airplane, and that's why they called them cargo cults. And this woman was part of a. Now she told me a lot of these things that I'm about to tell you when she was alive, and I thought because she had fallen out of favor with society, and I mean she was really high society, like the old school high society, like Rothschild high society. That she was just looking to get my attention to keep me around. But I liked her just because I felt that she was just a good person at heart. She was part of a CIA think tank, and I have pictures of them getting on the plane. When she died, she said, "Take anything you want," and one of them was this photo album. And there's also a great picture in there of her bullfighting when she was like 18 or 19. She was down in South America with her family. They were archaeologists at the time. They were digging up all kinds of stuff. But oh, who just came in? Oh, Big Matt. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. So she was part of the CIA think tank, and this is now when she told me this, and when she was alive, like I said, I thought she was just trying to get attention. After she died, I found out everything she told me was true, and they were flying over the jungle somewhere in South America. The plane crashed. Everybody on it died except for her. And she said she was the only person in history to walk out of the jungle 45 pounds heavier because she lost her thyroid medicine in the crash. And it sounds crazy, but after she died, I found out everything she told me was true. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. A chick bullfighter in the 50s and 60s. What? Oh, she was something else. I mean, the call was, I should do a video on her. It's been 8 years. 7 years of statute of limitations for most things. She came from an extremely powerful family. I'm going to say her last name. It was Ledoux. And all you got to do is Google that. Ledoux and Company. And see what comes up. You're not going to find a whole bunch of controversial stuff, but you're going to find what they're doing now. And what they're doing is they're testing um, trace minerals for, hang on a minute. I gotta put my trace minerals for oil companies. And they actually started out religious. They built schools, they built churches. And I mean, this is going back to the early 19th century. And then they became archaeologists, and then they got into mineralogy. So without people like Ledoux and Company, our gas and the oil companies, they wouldn't have a chance because it's Ledoux and Company that makes sure that this product comes through clean and it works the way it's supposed to. So yeah, look that up, Ledoux and Company. I actually had some videos that I found that came over from my iPad to my tablet when I got the new one that I forgot about that I was going to do. I was going to do on my old-fashioned vet, too. He was like old-school Cornell grad veterinarian, and he was just amazing. Who's still in here? Oh, my God, I have 10. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. You're just here for my fire. I know you are. You're just here for the fire and the coonskin cap. This hat is so comfortable. It's a little big on me, though. I got to do a couple of invisible stitches in it so that it fits a little tighter because it moves around a lot. But again, I almost hate to wear it anywhere in New York because I would have to say it's fake so that nobody cries over it. But even then, that's loss of integrity. I don't want to have to do that. And I'm sick and tired of the PC. I don't know if anybody realizes it, but the PC got us into this mess. And if you don't know what that is, the history of the Northeast Arkansas woodcutter. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, we're just loaded. It's almost too much to do. Almost too much. Mike Turner, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Anybody say anything derogatory that I missed or anything funny and interesting? Because here I am just yammering and yammering. Okay, Gio's back. One of the fur babies says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just went through that with a friend. That's terrible. She had to put her Bernese mountain dog down. She was almost 10 years old, and the hip dysplasia was terrible. He acts like his right leg is bothering him. Hmm. Was he outside? Maybe he stepped on something? I'm sure you looked him over real well." Oh boy, I hope it's nothing serious. I hope you don't have to go to the vet because you know what that's like anymore. Oh, have you really? Arkansas woodcutter. I can't remember your first name. I'm sorry. I'm terrible like that sometimes. Um, Archaeological digs are really cool. I actually did a tiny one of my own recently, and it was at the historic Edmondson House. That's not too far from here. The house was built in, well, the stone structure. I should do a video on that too because I'm a trustee there. I could do a really nice tour. It's privately owned, and unlike the state, they can't. I don't even know if I want to go there. Um, so anyhow, yeah, I'm a trustee there, and they were saying that they had to cut down a maple tree that a classmate of mine had planted there back in the 80s when he was living there. And he's even more into history than I am. I I make a pretty good show of it, but not like some of these people. And so the tree got cut down, and I said, "Well, I got a bunch of saplings at the house. I've got 10-foot ones, 5-foot ones, all sugar maples. What do you want?" And they said, "Well, we'd love them, but don't put it in the front again because when people are coming on the road, it's a state road. They're kind of you don't want that view blocked because you kind of want to give a place like that as much attention as you want." So I planted this 10-foot sapling, which I put in my car, and it was, "Hey, Raymond Williams, how you doing, Ray? Hope you're feeling good." So anyhow, I had to dig the hole for the maple tree, and in the upper right-hand corner of the hole, I was coming up with all these shards of pottery, old shards of glass, the hand poured glass. So I gathered them all up, and that's about as far as it's gone for me. And one of the big things I used to be really hip on was doing the oh, good, glad to hear it, Ray. Real glad to hear it. One thing that I was always big on was going along old road beds and railroad beds, abandoned ones, and looking for insulators, glass insulators. The more different colors, the better. Wyatt's here. Hey, Wyatt, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I got a little French Canadian in me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, glass insulators used to be my thing. I always liked the colorful ones. As many different colors as you can find, but the like the solid ceramic ones were always cool. But I've done a lot of this past couple of years. I've done a lot of surveys along old right-of-ways like the Erie. And did you collect all glass? Yeah, I sort of did. Unfortunately, my cousin's husband got to all the glass in Cornwall before anybody else did. Some of those, yeah, they do, Greg. Yeah, they do. And especially if they've got the name on it, and it's rare to find one like the Ontario and Western and the Erie. I got to put you down for a minute because I got to throw something on the fire. My hand's starting to get cold. I tell you what, man, you guys work outside. You go out to check your trap line or something. Put a coonskin cap on. You look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You can't go wrong with these things. They are so warm. But that's what I want to do with the trapping. I said earlier that I'm working on a career change that will hopefully give me more time to get out there because I want to trap as many critters as I possibly can. And I want to turn as many hides as I can. Oh, here, I think it's 28 or 29 degrees right now once the sun went down. Yeah, I want to make clothing out. I even want to make underwear. You kidding me? Rabbit hide underwear? Yeah, that'll keep you warm. Uh, oh, MB, Heritage Farms. Oh my God, it's been a while. I have been unsubscribed from so many people. In fact, just I like took 2 tries to go through my list to find out who was missing. I got to go back and find everybody and resubscribe. It was so extensive. And you know what's weird about that? I've got some friends who are on my subscription list who have been there since last, when did I start? I started last April. No, I started April 2020. And they just subscribe just to be nice. They have no interest. I don't even know why we're friends. I guess, opposites attract. They have no interest in watching my videos and they're still on there. But the people who I was actively keeping in touch with, they just disappeared. Sorry, I had to turn the spotlight on because we're having problems with dogs next door. And unfortunately, they're not friendly. They're like junkyard dogs. So I heard something, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to pick up a big piece of wood and throw it. I don't want to have to do that. But they're untrained and they're undisciplined and they're not very friendly. That's chilly, Evan. Wow, it's actually so cold. What's temperature where you are, Tegan? You're up there. Oh, I forgot where you are. Alberta, Ontario. Tubby Guy Outdoors is Wyatt Foltz. He's up in Canada too. Just a bunch of Canadians hanging out here tonight. Evan said minus 32 Celsius, 0 degrees. Evan, where are you again? I'm sorry that I forgot that. And then it's going to get worse in February because I'm taking on another class that's going to take up a lot of time. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to be more neglectful. But next year, this time, with any luck, and things work out the way I expect them to, I'm going to have a whole new gig. I'm going to have a lot more time to spend with everybody. And man, like I said, I'm chomping at the bit. I want to trap in my backyard. But, we've got the neighbors' dogs, and even though I don't like them, I don't want them in the traps. And I hear you guys say all the time that dog proofs usually don't work anyways. And these dogs, I don't think they're feeding them very well. So even if it's a dog proof, I think they're going to dig into it anyways. I did join the New York State Trappers Association, and I joined the Orange County Trappers Association, and I need to go to a meeting. Because the Orange County, that's the county I live in New York, they have, they're the ones who I took the trapping course through. And we did it outside. When the heck was it? It was April. We did it outside in an outdoor pavilion. All we had was a roof over our heads. I didn't care. I was dressed warm. I had my hot hands and body warmers on, and my friend came with me because she just wanted to experience it. And at one point she was like, can we just take the test and get out of here? I'm like, just be patient. And the reason for that, of course, is because of Commie-19. And but it's a nice fish and game club. And if I could find a minute, I would love to join them because they got a lot of property up there. And the people who taught the class are part of the Fish and Game Club, and I'd really like to make more connections with them. But the thing about the trapping, I wanted to get the certificate before they took that away from us. Luckily, none of that's happened yet, but I can't commit. I just can't I know you guys have a lot of experience with this, but I just can't see. If I walk away from a trap and an hour later, coyote gets into it, and then I don't check it until like 5, well, when the sun comes up the next morning, um, just bothers me. I know it's the name of the game and it's the way it goes, but I want to be on top of it. I mean, really. How's that fire? Looking pretty good, huh? Hey, Judith and Dan Davis. Is it both of you or one or the other? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Dan Davis is another trapping Jedi. He's awesome, man. The rhetoric, the explanations that you give when you're out there have helped me understand things so much. Oh, wow! Did you see that spark go past me? I'm gonna set myself on fire yet. Okay, what am I missing here? Everybody saying hi. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. That was stupid. I'm just pressing buttons. Let's see, section 8. 5 pounds of cheese in the past 8 days. What are you trying to bind yourself up on purpose, Evan, or do you just like cheese? Sorry, I keep oh, duh. Pay attention, dummy. What in the world? If I don't feel good, I'm having some problems down below and things are running a little too fast, then I'll eat a whole lot of cheese. DPs pull only triggers, prevent most all in. Okay. Thank you, Judith and Dan Davis. Hey, I learned how to do something new. That's awesome, MB. Oh, MB said something. Wish you all the best. What did MB say? Doing good, bro. Just starting to get crazy, busy. Gonna open the fishing lure store soon. Oh, how cool. Man, I need to get back to everybody again. There were a lot of subscriptions, and then all of a sudden everything just, I don't know, just got weird. Who's the cheesehead? Cheesehead. 2 hours south of Canada. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna ask you, Evan. I'm not gonna ask you. This is going back to 7:43, so I'm way behind on this. I'm not gonna ask you to be specific, but what part of the U.S.? Northeast, northwest. I'm missing it. Happens when you get fired. What? That's cute. Well, I missed this conversation on cheese. Probably -2. Oh, Tegan said it's -2, and she's in Ontario. Oh, okay. Evan, never mind. I caught it. I finally caught up. I figured it out. The truth said he got his first snow of the year an hour ago, half an inch. Yeah, we got a few dustings. December 2020, we got almost 2 feet, I believe, because I did my what do you call it? My cross country ski instructional video, where I dropped my phone in the snow several times and it made it through. It gotcha, Evan. Okay. Like a cheese plug, eat some string and pull. I know someone who got so packed he had to dig it out with his finger. You don't want to go there. Oh, let me put that up. So how's everybody's New Year? Oh, I got 13. I'm doing pretty good tonight. I guess I'm getting a little more entertaining, maybe. Maybe. It's so good to be here because it feels like the world is just losing it. Yeah, and in this group, Tegan, you're just going to find that People are straightforward and frank, and nobody pulls any crap. Honest, good, honest people. People are becoming so aggressive and unprovoked. Yeah, I got a little aggressive too because in New York, Hoochel decided that we would have a holiday muzzle season. And in the first 2 days, I got kicked out of two stores and I flipped them both off as I was leaving. And, I don't want to educate. Hey, it's Mo homesteading. All right. It's good to see you, Tanya. Thanks for coming in. Just got off work. How long are you staying on? Until my hand freezes off. I'll stay on for a while. I don't mind. I've been here for 51 minutes, which is actually pretty good for me. I usually do about an hour or so, but I can go a little more. Yeah, back to being kicked out of the store. So our tyrannical governor decided to do the muzzle holiday season, and I have had enough. I'm done with that. And so I walk into two stores. They said, "Put a mask on." No, it's legal. This is a place of public accommodation. I don't care if it's privately owned by anybody. This is a public place. I don't have to do it. I hate to get political, but asking people to do that is illegal. This whole thing is disaster fraud. So they gave me a hard time, and one of them said, "Well, the store is going to get fined $1,000." I said, "Well, I think the store can afford $1,000." So I flipped them off and I walked out because I'm about ready to grab people by their freaking hair. I'm so sick of this. That happened to me before too. Done with the muzzles. I didn't even wear a mask. Those masks make people look like a dog face in the profile. And I've seen people blow their noses in them and not take them off, sneeze and cough in them and not take them off. We are meant to breathe the air. We are not meant to breathe the waste that comes out with our breath. I mean, it's just crazy. So I come to find out about this holiday muzzle season that we have our what the hell am I trying to say? I'm listening to something behind me. It could be the fox moving around. So I got distracted. Our county assemblyman had voted against it because nobody told us that it was county by county. Yes, they are. Absolutely. Oh, Mo, you're leaving? I have to get dinner real quick, but I will come back if you're still on. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Have a great dinner. Hope it's delicious. So, yeah, so our county assemblyman voted against it for Orange County and Rockland County. They're like sister counties. Orange is north of Rockland. So we're exempt. But try telling people that. You walk into a store and you tell them this. Exactly. Judith and Dan Davis. Yeah, yeah, bingo. I mean, the whole thing, well, again, I don't want to get too political, but I mean, the whole thing is about how much of a seal trick can we create here? I had to wear Corona condom. Everybody, look at this. We're at the doctor today. Yeah, because they're all neurotic freakazoids about this. I'd rather get sick and like go lay on the couch until I die. I am not afraid to die. It takes a lot to scare me that much. And I'll tell you another thing. I put up a link, but I'm kind of in the dark here and at a disadvantage. But back in 1976, the swine flu, they tried doing the same thing. Look it up on YouTube. I believe it's still there. Mike Wallace's interview with Mary Tyler Moore, the 1976 swine flu pandemic. Okay, so what did Evan say? They were mad because I had it under my chin. Yeah, you can get an infection with that sucker too. I'll tell you a story about that. They said I had to wear one, not have. You could have put it anywhere on your body then, right? I never wore the mask. I did for like 4 days. And then a nurse friend of mine sees me and she says, "Irene, you got a staph infection on your face." Well, that was a normal reaction to keeping the carbon dioxide in and all the waste that comes out. And so I stopped wearing it. So just, I hate to say it, but just to shut people up, I just wore a bandana because it had a lot of room under it and the air could circulate. So, in fact, just recently I had like a little bump here from that infection, and I just picked it off. I actually had thought it was from one of my hunting masks that I took out for turkey season in 2020 because it had a little moldy smell to it, but it wasn't. I wasn't wearing the blue mask either because I heard very early on that those were coming from China, and I saw that video and all that crazy stuff. 38% goes around the sides anyway. And it's not meant to get wet. And you see people at the gym wearing them or running or hiking. I mean, in 2020, I was out in the woods in like 100-degree weather doing my internship for the invasive species surveys. And I'm way out in the back by West Point where nobody, oh, that's all right, Mark. No problem. I'm glad you came back. And I'm way out in the back by West Point in no man's land where all the coyote packs are alone. And this guy comes walking up the trail as I'm pacing out my steps to do my survey. And he's got a blue mask on. He's got a blue mask on. In 100-degree heat. How many brain cells do you have to lose to do something like that? I mean, come on. Talk about being out to lunch. That is so far out to lunch. You're never coming back. Unbelievable. I like wearing gaiters if I have to. When I used to ski up in the forest here and we used to have to cut our own trail, I used to wear gaiters all the time. I love my gaiters, but we can't ski up there anymore because everybody walks in the snow now. Believe it or not, in New York State, there is a New York State DC, like a bylaw for people's safety that states if there is 6 inches of snow and over, you must have some kind of winter gear on your feet. For example, skis, bushwhacking skis. You could also do telemark skis, trail course country skis, or snowshoes. But nobody wants to do that. And if you blow your knee out there and 2.5 feet of snow, or if you twist an ankle or whatever, they're going to charge you plenty to come pick your sorry butt up. And all it took was to avoid that situation. It could cost you anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 because they may have to use a helicopter to come pick your butt up. So nobody pays attention to that, but that is a true blue bona fide New York State DEC, I guess, bylaw. And to me, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm not going out in snow without anything on my feet. I mean, I prefer the skis because you move so much faster. But the snowshoes are great. And let me tell you something else about the snowshoes. I did a video last February 2021, on snowshoes, and I'm out there in my old-fashioned snowshoes. They're Snow Treks. They were made in Canada in the 1980s, and they're wood and natural sinew, and they literally float on the snow. And I'm looking at these people wearing these brand new tubs. They look like plastic bladders that a dentist uses when he does a root canal in your mouth, and some kind of alloy for the frame. And they're sinking way in, and I'm just floating across the top of the snow. And I was walking alongside one woman at this nature center that we have in town. I just did a New Year's hike there, and I mean, she's really, she's like pretending she's having a good time, but she's like sinking in, and I'm just gliding across the top of the snow. So I said something to her about it, and I said, I just don't understand why people want to use these newfangled modern snowshoes when, you could have the real thing with actual sinew and wood and actually walk on top of the snow. Well, there's my rant about snowshoes for the night. I'm not even sure how I got on that subject. Oh, it was the New York State DEC bylaw about 6 inches of snow, and that came from Gio's comment about gators. All right, what am I missing here? Let's see, 38%. Okay, I'm way behind. The truth of grapes. Yeah, Tegan did if you go to her channel, go back, Tegan, I think it was October, September, when you did a panel discussion with someone else. I can't remember who it was, but it was when you were talking about how this this sort of behavior that we're seeing today was once held in check by society, and now all bets are off. And if you get a chance and you see the link that I put on your very last video by Amazing Polly, she has a great take on it, great explanation. I've also noticed that the driving is very bad, and I got to wonder if that's the Fochin. I'm noticing that spatial awareness is like destroyed in these people, and I'm seeing it in the driving. I mean, we get. I'm 60 miles from New York City. We get people up here from the city all the time who never even owned a car, and this is their first time. But they should still be a little bit better than that. But I'm noticing it in a certain period of time right now. And like, here's the stop line, the line for the stop sign or the light, and they're back like a car length and a half. To me, that looks like a spatial awareness problem, or maybe a peripheral vision problem. I'm just theorizing. I don't know, but I'm noticing it everywhere. And I was mentioning it to my brother yesterday. And he said, well, maybe they just don't want to get up too close because they're afraid a tractor trailer is going to come around the corner. It's like that tractor, even Gio can attest to this. No tractor trailer driver, unless he's drunk and completely out to lunch, wants to hit a speed bump car because it's just going to be too much paperwork to deal with. And who wants to get involved in that? A neighbor wears his in the house. He lives alone, but he said he don't know where. Are you serious? See, you see that? This is a serious mental illness. I tried a pair of those aluminum. Oh, they're aluminum, Wyatt? Okay, I thought maybe it was like some kind of, yeah, I guess aluminum alloy. Bearpaw things. What they are a joke. I know my cousin got a pair and she's like, oh, this is great. I'm like, yeah, but you're sinking down. There's 2 feet of snow and you're sinking down almost a foot. That's crazy, right, Greg? Oh my God. You do the truth? See, there it is again. Look up Kerry Mullis. Um, he he's dead now. He died in August 2019. But he invented the test. It's basically like Cody would probably know after 5. It's like a forensic duplication test, like for rape victims and stuff like that. So if you've got anything in you, any kind of bacteria, whatever, um, it's going to amplify it, and it's going to make it look like you've got something when you probably do. But yeah, bacterial pneumonia, viral pneumonia, the common cold, who knows? Oh, I'm sorry that that's going on. I heard a friend call that the nasal rape. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying some of these things, but I can't take it anymore. I'm so sick of it. Yeah, okay, okay, I don't feel so bad. New York had legalized pot before the Fochin started to take over, and I started to notice it with that. the spatial awareness being off. That's a neurological problem. That's a brain problem. And I'm sorry, but it this just doesn't look good, and it's just gonna get worse. Video froze up, but the audio is good. Oh, it did, Geo? Thanks for telling me. Shoot. You know what might have happened? My hotspot might have crapped out. I hope not. I got a robo police call tonight. I don't know if anybody heard that earlier. I was talking to Cody about it. And I could tell it was they were looking for money, for like the Policemen's Benevolent Association. But when I answered the phone, because I thought it was somebody else, the robo voice said, "Is this Sheldon?" And that's my last name. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I was getting tested every 2 weeks, taken for my own safety, but I'm in hospital 3 days a week. Well, there's a whole lot of whole lot of God. I don't even know how to say it without getting flagged. Oh, you got to go, Wyatt? Oh, thanks for coming in. You have a good night too. It's good talking with you. Ugh. I'm kind of stiff sitting here on the ground. Greg, how am I doing? Everybody, is it still? Yeah, am I still connected, or did the computer decide to shut down? Yeah, it looks like I'm still connected. Oh, anytime, Wyatt. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, I could go on and on about it, but my parents were, I've said this before, my parents were born in the 20s, and Mo Homesteading knows what I'm talking about when I say this, but they talked about a lot of things. Uh, they didn't say everything, they didn't give a lot of detail, but they had been warning my brother and I about this for a very, very long time back in the 70s. They're like, you kids better watch it because they're going to take all your rights away someday. And it's going to happen very fast. Deacon says, let me get you up there. Someone who was nearly assaulted at her own apartment by an unstable neighbor looking for a fight. Tried to push their way into the apartment. Things are definitely, that's crazy. I heard out in California, last time I did a live stream, somebody had mentioned it. Oh, it was Cecilia, Ravencat Homesteading. And she said that she had heard, she's up in Canada too, out in California, people were attacking other people for their groceries outside of the supermarket. And I can see that happening because if you try to do a really successful internet search, first of all, try to avoid Google. Use DuckDuckGo or something else like that. But if you do use Google, because it can be a lot faster, put it into quotation marks. That seems to help. Or you can put it into parentheses. I know somebody who years ago learned how to do that, and he pretty much hacked right into the main system at the time, back when there was like 5 people on the internet. Yeah, we don't hear much about the homeless people, and I've looked for them. So many people ended up living in their cars. I thought I was going to end up living in my car because of this. And that's why earlier I said, I'm not kidding when I say I put on weight when this started, because I was like, shit, they're trying to start us out. And like Greg, I don't know if anybody saw Geo Outdoors live stream yesterday from his truck. He made an excellent point. Trucker strike, 4 days top, and everything is going to be empty. And there are going to be fights like you wouldn't believe, and it's possible that that's when the guns are going to come out. You shoot your grocery? Yeah, I try to. I want to go out this weekend to that new state land south of me that I went to about almost a month ago now. and do some exploring, get to know the place, and see if I can find some squirrels. Because man, I love. I know everybody fries them, but I take the whole body and I put it in the crock pot with lots and lots of lard. Irene, try shutting the camera off and back on. It may work. Oh, what happened? What did I do? I didn't realize I was having so many technical difficulties. Well, that stinks. I'm sorry about that, folks. Let me just check something real quick. Squirrel and dumplings, you got it. The thing about the bacon fat that I talk about all the time, wild game is very, very, very lean. That does not mean it's heart healthy. All right. That's another thing that we've been punked about. We are fat and cholesterol, and we should be eating it. You just want to make sure it's best quality. So when you get venison or squirrel or even the pheasant that I have, um, eat it with even a piece of bread. Eat it with a ton of butter. Really good quality butter. If you can get raw butter, that's even better because it's got everything in it that your gut needs to function properly. You're going to get the best vitamin K you could possibly get that helps you with your joints. Oh, it's still frozen, really? Oh, Jesus. What the heck happened here? Let me see. What can I do here? Okay, anything? Oh, really, Mark? I don't feel so bad. I kind of felt like I was the only one who did that. Because I've had them fried too, but am I still screwed up, Gio? You don't have to answer that, honestly. Evan says he bakes them, skins them, uh, put a box of surfing around 4 of them and 45 minutes in the oven. That sounds cool. Squirrel is delicious. Well, Greg, wasn't something going on with your site? We're all screwed up. Yeah, but isn't it fun? At least we're nice screwed up, you know? We're not like evil, satanic screwballs. I could name names in that category, but I'm not going to. I'm trying to keep this a family show. I got this beautiful chunk of cedar over here that I wanted to. Yeah, all kinds of crap happens. See, that's why Tegan is so cool. She can explain so much of that, and she offers the service too. Tegan's a professional. So I want everybody to know, especially Judith and Dan, and Mark too. I was watching your videos and liking them, but like with Judith, with Dan Davis, I noticed I kind of was getting a complex because I thought, well, maybe if I don't say stupid stuff, he'll have better luck. So I stopped answering. I stopped commenting because it was kind of like a, kind of like open up the universe kind of thing, and don't smother them with comments, and then maybe things will change. But man, I remember that one section of woods that you were in. It was horrible. Oh my God. I mean, what a crazy place. There was some, I don't know if it was Wyatt or not, Tubby Guy Outdoors, or maybe it was an Adirondack trapper. I think it was trapping season 2020. And this guy put out like 30 traps up in the Adirondacks in New York State. And and somebody stole every single one of them. And that's also one of the reasons why, I'm working on this career change, because I want to be so on top of this, because I live in an area where people will have wet dreams over stealing other people's traps. So that's how bad it is around here. But I mean, what a thing to have happen, that you're out there doing your thing, and somebody is going around stealing your traps. I remember I was doing small game. What was it, a couple of years ago, and I walked up on a beaver pond that was full of castor mounds, and I learned that from all you guys. I didn't know about castor mounds until I got into this community, and there's a little dam there, and I had been watching. I think recently I watched Craig Wall, Georgia Trapping and Fishing, and he was breaking down dams. And I went to step on the dam to push it down to start to break it, and I see a stick sticking up just back behind the dam. So I stopped my tracks. I was like, wait a minute, that's probably a stick holding a trap, a drowner trap. So I left it there, and I said, I don't know what this guy's plan is, so I'm not going to break down this dam after I saw that stick, because the stick was so out of place in the big, menagerie of a beaver dam. You know what a beaver dam looks like. It's a great big mess. So I just backed away, but I learned that from all of you guys. It's Amanda. How you doing there, Amanda? Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. I was just talking about a beaver dam that I stumbled across a while back, and everything that I've learned from everybody in this YouTube outdoor community taught me to not, what the heck? Oh, it was my thermos falling over. Not to pull out a stick that's out of place by a beaver dam, because chances are there's a drowning trap at the bottom of it. I'm good. I just woke up. How many hours difference? Let's see. To London, 5. Is it like 8? Could it be wrong? 18 hours difference? I don't know. I'm talking out my backside here. I have no clue. Gee, what's the temperature here right now? Yeah, it's 28 degrees in the Hudson Valley and New York State. It's 9:18 a.m. What's 13, Evan? I missed something again. Sometimes my brain races like crazy from one thought to the other. That's what's nice about doing videos. I can kind of concentrate on one thing, and spend a little bit more time, because I do so much. Before the debacle of 2020, I was a freelance researcher, and everybody thought that I had the cooties, so they all started canceling contracts. But I mean, anything from searching property lines, genealogy, to finding out the reason why in a shipment of LED light bulbs, one section of one box was empty. You name it. I mean, talk about picking any research stuff. Um, that's the kind of work I used to do, and it was great. What the hell was I talking about? Getting tired. Yeah, we were talking about the time, and then I started rambling about my old job. Was I going to talk about invasive species? Oh, check it out. It'll probably come to, oh, my mind racing. Okay, so I'm so used to getting into these pickaninny details about stuff that I like. Sometimes I'll second guess myself and I'll overthink everything. But that's, I have to say, that's kind of the mind of a researcher. So the videos help me focus on one thing, and instead of like branching off into a million different other places, like if I'm researching, let me get an example of a video, like the Black Dirt region. I can just focus on that. It's like, okay, what started the Black Dirt region? what's the prehistoric information about the Black Dirt region? Can I find some maps to show people? What are the people like? How many generations do I want to go back? And I was lucky to find that. What was that? That was a 1940s National Geographic article, which I had no idea existed. That was cool. Oh, Monica. Well, so I had a friend who went to London over Christmas and New Year's, and right before Christmas, she writes to me, sends me a text because I was watching her dogs, and she said, "There's a rumor here in Britain that the U.S. is going into lockdown." And I said, "Well, you know, Rona is, it's starting to heat up again because the New York State governor decided to do the holiday muzzle ritual, so everybody's starting to get upset again." But you know what I'm noticing when I'm walking in the place. Of course, New York, Orange County in New York is exempt because of our assemblyman. He voted against it. People are just walking around without them. They don't want to be bothered with them. But yeah, that was kind of interesting when she wrote to me about that because, well, they were worried because when they left, I said, "You guys be careful because you might get stuck over there." And of course, to get back on the plane, they have to do the old nasal rape test, and they had to pass that. And if she's thinking if the U.S. went in lockdown, they weren't going to be coming home. So that didn't happen, and let's hope it never does again because we are not in jail and we are not criminals. Stay warm. Glad to see you live stream and everybody in the chat. Take care, Greg. Looking forward to your next video on the boat. Can't wait to see you get it out on the water in a blizzard, catching fish. That would be so cool. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to get a little more heat off the fire. I got a big pile of coals, but I'd almost have to sit on it for it to keep me warm. Not unless the flames are shooting up. I'm not going to get as much heat. And it's not banked, except for the stones in the back. We are prisoners in Western Australia. Amanda, are you familiar with a YouTube channel called Justinian Deception? He's in Australia too. I'm not sure where. But he was saying a friend of his at the beginning of this was arrested for something that didn't have anything to do with the narrative, but he hasn't seen him since. And it's been since like June 2020. Justinian Deception. Very, very interesting channel. No? Okay. Well, basically, all of this is being spelled out for us. I mean, they're telling us what they're going to do every single time they open their mouths. And thanks to Mr. Potato Head in the White House, I can't really raise my thermostat over 55, but that's okay. I'm pretty tough. I can deal with it. I don't like having to do it, though. I got to say, though, it's the first time in my life I've ever had to do this. That wasn't my choice. Oops, sorry. Let's see, we're going into almost an hour and a half. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask me? I mean, if it's personal, as long as it's not X-rated, I have no tolerance for that. I can think of better things to do. Besides, I'm at the age where the hormones aren't kicking anymore, so I'm a pretty dull person. Amanda, was there a chance that you were going to come over to the States? Something that you and JV were working on? You don't have to tell me, if I'm getting into a private area here. But I thought there was something going on there. I just want to stop being WA to stop being so power hungry. Just leave me alone. They're saying the opening date February. Yeah, yep. That's you keep people in fear. I'm just making sure something's not sneaking up on me. You know, a fox will do that. Not really out of aggression, but just out of curiosity, because usually I'm not out here at this time. Might be curious. Oh, you are? Cool. Cool. Saw someone say about wood stoves being outlawed next winter. You know, Judith and Dan, they've been talking about that for the last 20 years. And I remember about 10 years ago, they were talking about outlawing personal gardens. And remember, we were hearing some reports. I don't know if you recall. I think I saw it on Facebook, possibly, or Google. I mean, who knows that people were being arrested and for having. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. But yeah, I had heard something about that. I don't think you were full at all. Always very really, Mark. I'm not like watching paint dry. I like I said, I really hope that this career change I'm working on works out because I'm going to mount a camera to my head every time I go out trapping. I hope I get the chance to do it before I die. Yeah. Let's see. Moving over with JV, just trying to get some things sorted and hoping that Western Australia border's open. What's it going to take right now, Amanda, to leave? Or is that a complete no-go? Because we can move around to and from the States. It just means you have to have the arm dart and you got to have the nasal rape test, which I'm still not doing. I'll just stay right here. I don't really care. I remember going to Canada all the time. Back in the 80s, you didn't need a passport. You didn't need a what's that license? It's the license. Oh, geez, Christ, I can't. Pardon my blasphemy. I didn't mean to do that. What the heck was it called? It's a license that you can use to get into Mexico. It's like a enhanced license, I believe, is what it is. Oh, Evan, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll check back when it comes back. I hope it does. That is so frustrating. I went through that for months. I'm so glad I switched to AT&T. So yeah, we had family up in Canada, and we used to go up and visit them. And we had a long lost aunt that my brother kept looking for. And we had heard she was at a nunnery, but it may not have been, well, an abbey, may not have been what we thought it was. So complete no-go at the moment. They're saying I can't leave till I get the booster. Oh, see, this is so wrong. Can't get that till next month. And Western Australia international borders don't open till 5th of February. Man, this is some power-hungry, maniacal shit. I'm telling you. It's crazy. I'd rather take my chances. Like I said before, I'm not afraid to die. I'm really not. I mean, 8 years ago, I don't want to get too personal, but 8 years ago, I had a health crisis. And I went to 4 different doctors, and 4 different doctors told me I had 4 different types of cancer. And the first one scared me half to death. And I was numb when I left the office. And I went home and I sat down with myself and I said, Self, do you think you have cancer? No, I don't. There's something else going on. And that's when I dove into human physiology and found out that the doctors were just looking for money from the oncology side of it. Because there's big money in cancer, as you all know. Isn't it, Daniel? It's terrible. Let me put that up so everybody can see that. Shoot. I wish I wish I could like break this spell somehow. It's got to be something. Absolutely, Amanda. I mean, we're not as bad off, and I believe the reason why. I mean, it's bad enough, but I'm sure everybody and somebody could probably elaborate on this. What was it during World War II? The Emperor of Japan said you cannot start a war on American soil because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. And that's the reason why they're not pushing us so much. But I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers, but back when that crazy Rosie O'Donnell was on TV, she was the one, telling her that was back when they were trying to tell all of us to bring your guns to the police station. I heard that and I said, what in the heck? This is insane. And of course, at the time, this was what, 20, almost 30 years ago. I had my fingers crossed that, okay, this is a little bit of hype right now. Let's hope it kind of calms down. Well, it didn't. They've been trying to get over on us for decades. Decades. They keep trying and trying. And they finally hit everybody at the right time when they could just use fear to just control everything. And again, like I said earlier, I wasn't going to get political, but I've just had it up here. And getting kicked out of these stores, well, I'll go someplace else, but that just really pisses me off. What did Mark say? I'm flying south March 6th. You know what that means. Well, I'm glad Amanda does, because I'm a little lost. I'm excited for you, both of you. When you say you're going south, Mark, what do you mean? Or is that like something between the three of you guys? I don't want to get too personal. Let's see what Daniel says. Canada is just as bad. Yeah. I had Tegan Alexandra Osman on here, and she was talking about how people are getting into terrible fights with each other, and just a lot of aggression. And it's just we're leading into winter, so people naturally become sedated here. But in the summer, I think we will see more and more fed up people in the streets. Yeah, we get that cycle here too. I always felt it was safer to go hiking in the woods in the winter because most of the nut jobs that would be out in the warm weather are hiding in the house. Oh, there's Tegan. And Amanda says there are a lot of people fed up in Western Australia, Daniel, and we are taking a stand. But yeah, it's tough. It almost feels like we missed our mark from the beginning, but not really. I mean, this sort of thing. I keep hoping that it's just going to wear itself out. I've seen so many of these. We all have. I mean, if you look back, also the bears are sleeping. Yeah, that's true. Um, I mean, I've seen so many of these things wear themselves out. Remember Obamacare? With the gold, silver, and bronze levels of healthcare. And if you didn't sign up, and you're going to be fined. Uh, it's just so crazy. I was doing a survey, Daniel. I think it was August 2020 on the part of the Appalachian Trail across the river from me on Canada Hill, and I hear like widowmakers crashing down behind me, duff being ripped up off the forest floor, and yep, you guessed it. It was a black bear following me through the woods. And I found out something about the Appalachian Trail. There's a rush hour. And it's usually like there's a store right in Garrison, right in that area. And then they do the section from Garrison, New York, up to Kent, New York, which is Fawnstalk State Park, that has accommodations for them. So they hit what they call the AT store, and they get what they need. and then they head up to and they take that same path along Canada Hill on the Appalachian where I was, and they get to Fawnstock, and that's where they pick up their mail and their packages or whatever. Well, when I went, um, it was in the rush hour is like 4:30, and I learned this from talking to a lot of these people who I met on the trail, which was I should have did video interviews of these people, but they're all using a certain level of anonymity for good reason, and they all have trail names that are not their real names. But I end up doing my survey after work at 5:30, which was about an hour after their rush hour. So the woods got quiet, and you know how that works. And when the woods get quiet and the humans aren't there, the animals go back to their business. So I'm walking along and I'm using my app for the Avenza map, and I'm doing my survey, and I'm hearing all this crashing going on behind me, and I'm like, shoot, I'm being followed. And the hair on the back of my neck went up because when it's a bear, it's just an uncanny thing. And so I ended up walking, I think 6 miles out of my way, but I was gonna double back and take another trail down to my car, but I thought, nope, I'm not gonna tempt fate. I'm gonna walk wide circles around this one. I'm going to pick up my sweetheart Monica in California and bring her back to Illinois. Oh, cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I know you and Monica are definitely a thing. Yeah, get her out of the land of fruits and nuts. She's gonna have a great time with you in Illinois. You're gonna keep her busy. Plenty to do there. Okay, let's see. Daniel says, Rebel News, based out of Canada here, has its only international news outlet there in Australia. So luckily, we have some great insight into what's going on there and not filtered liberal media. Yeah, that's always a big problem. They've always done that. Is anybody familiar with Andy Griffith? Of course you are, right? Did you know that Andy Griffith had a master's in music? That's beside the point. But does anybody remember the movie A Face in the Crowd? A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith, and I can't remember the woman. The woman was a well-known actress at the time. But A Face in the Crowd was done in the 50s. If you get a chance, watch it. A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith. And it's all about how TV was used, has always been used. Remember, it's a 1950s movie that it's always been used for manipulating the public. I mean, look at the Nielsen ratings. That's that was it was all used for marketing. So, we can get people to think this and they'll go buy that and we'll make lots of money. And then, one hand washes the other, and we'll do a little bribe here and we'll do a little bribe there, and then this guy will get front and center broadcasting, and this guy will be at the end because he didn't pay up enough. I mean, it's like a mob scheme. And hey, Tom Ritter, how you doing? And you know what's funny? People used to say this country ran better when the mob was in charge. Anybody remember those days? I do. Days of Ed Koch down in New York City, and Giuliani trying to clean up the mob out of the city. They were everywhere. They had their hands in everything. You name it. The railroads. Good, Tom. Glad to hear it. Railroads, energy companies, Indian Point. Does anybody know that Indian Point, which is just down the road from me, is a nuclear power plant? It was the very first one built in the entire world. My dad worked on it, and it is the what is it? It's the blueprint for every single nuclear facility around the world. Everybody took their cue. They all learned from Indian Point, and that was brand new technology at the time. Absolutely brand. So what are we talking about here? What did Amanda say? She said something. You honestly deserve. Oh, there we go. Every good man deserves a good woman. It's so hard to find anybody. I've been alone for a long time, and it's right now especially. Gosh, you don't know what you're getting into. Big nest of rattlesnakes half the time. Yeah, Monica, she's a nice girl. I like her a lot. If I was gay, that's so cute. I love it. You guys, you're so silly. Here's another good one from Daniel. Let's say people are being arrested and ticketed in their own parks while out for a walk. Police abusing power. You know, my neighbor is not armed, but I am. And I'm not armed for so much that reason. It's because I like to go hunting. But he did ask me at one point. He said, "How far are you willing to go?" I said, "I don't have to even answer that because one move out of me is going to get me thrown to the ground, you know, until they exhaust my resources where they can take over." I just don't know. I think it's most of it's inevitable, but I'm still holding out hope. I really am. Yeah, it's definitely become a joke backwoods. I can't deal with it anymore. It's just so pathetic, Amanda. Man. Well, if you get a chance and if you got some time, Amanda, look up Justinian Deception. I should put that up. I hate to look away from the screen, though. What did Tegan say? Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I was feeling alone with that. Yeah, it takes a lot of commitment. You know, I remember going down to the city with friends, and again, it really does take a lot to scare me. I don't know, maybe I have really good levels of magnesium and stuff, so you know I'm chill. Um, but they'd like bring knives and stuff. You bring a knife to the city, the metal detector's going to pick it up. You're either going to have to leave or you're going to have to leave it outside somewhere if you want to go in someplace that's got a metal detector. Um, but you know they're bringing all the stuff down with them. And I said, what do you guys do with that? Well, if somebody bothers me in the city, I'm going to stab them. Really? Do you know how much strength it takes? And even if you manage to get that knife into somebody's body, you're going to have to commit to that and keep doing it over and over and over because you can't just say, well, oh, I stabbed somebody, I'm good. Nope. If they're capable, their adrenaline is going to hit the highest point it possibly can, and their instinct is going to kick in, and they're going to protect themselves in any way they can. Not unless you hit a vital and you can knock them down. But why would you want to do that anyways? You know, I have a friend who is a like a 10th degree black belt. He's a ninja. And I totally agree with him. They're all taught to diffuse the situation. You just don't you don't want to go there where you may have to take another life. It's I mean it's kind of like with hunting, you know, like when I hunt, I've said in a few of my videos, I don't do butt shots, I don't do half-ass shots. Sometimes it happens, but you want a direct kill, and the same thing happens if if you're at if you're at that kind in that kind of war with somebody. Oh, hey, Monica, were your ears ringing? We were talking about you. Mark was talking about you. So was Daniel, and Daniel said some weird stuff. No, I'm just kidding. It was all good. It was all good. Yeah, so I'm not gonna go too far into that, but yeah, it takes a major commitment. If your life is at stake and you're fighting another human being, and you need to go to an extreme with that to keep your life safe, it's big and bad. No, but like you, I have to deal with it. What did Daniel have to say? They're deeply for Australia. Being a leftover piece of the Commonwealth, we are relatable in many ways. Yeah, many of our grocery stores have a section with Australian food even. No kidding, I didn't know that. Hmm. Okay, am I missing anything else here? Oh, that damn, I tell you, Tom, lime, that, hmm, that can get into your bones, deep into your bones. Geez, don't quote me on this. I might be wrong. Um, well, it is a virus, and anything else that's going on in your body, if it's in your bones, it could make it come to life. It's almost like it's in hibernation. My fire's starting to go out. I thought my neighbor was going to come out and join me, but they're kind of curled up snug in their cabin with the wood burning stove going. You know, that's something I could kick myself over and over about neglecting. Years ago, I was going to put in a wood burning stove, and then I don't know, God knows what happened. I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, damn, what a dumbass. I should have done that. I still have 11 in here. You guys are awesome, man. I look, oh, shoot. Really? Tom, I'm sorry. Crazy. I love it when you set things on fire, Daniel. That gets me going. I'm a pyro at heart, too, as you can tell, but not in a bad way. I'm not going to burn down your house. I'm glad I made you laugh. Tegan, the reason I have an interest in your channel is because the last fella I was with, and I don't mean this for every guy because it's not every guy. I'm talking about one specific person. He was a true blue narcissist in disguise. He was what do you call him? A covert narcissist. The what do you call it? The scapegoating. I mean, they're so subtle about it. So subtle. That's funny. You guys are terrible. Yeah, what else did he do? Oh, the gaslighting. The gaslighting. And you know, that's like one of my favorite movies with what was her name? Ingrid Bergman. You know, the movie Gaslight. And I didn't pick up on it because now I know. Now I know that. I'm not going to get into too many details, but the honeymoon was over. The red flags came out. I'd rather be alone. But I got to tell you what, when I lived in upstate New York back in 1989, Len and I bought a house in Stylesville, New York, right along the Delaware River, just downstream from the Cannonsville Reservoir. And we did great. We did fantastic. Um, and that was for 10 years. Covert narcissists are deadly. Yeah, he that's how he was. And Tegan, towards the end, it felt like there was a possibility. I thought I was imagining things. Felt like there was a possibility that something like that could happen. It's definitely on the rise. But oh yeah, well, you know, it's okay to be a pissant SOB right now. So it's encouraged. You know, like you said in that one video of yours. Actually, and Polly had said that recently too. My ex was like that. Amanda said when then he was just the nasty old time. Really? Yeah. See, mine was coated in sugar. I mean, there wasn't. He brought me jewels, flowers, and that was the setup. I don't want to bore the guys here, so I'd love to have a girl to girl talk. But I know women who are like that too. God. When this crap first started, I found some covert groups. Turned out most of them were just um, heavily pensioned retirees who were just aggravated with stuff. Oh God, What did Tom say? Tom's a good instigator. Uh, but they get worse. Oh, yes. Tom and I were talking about narcissism recently. They get worse and get bolder the more they can get away with. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so I found some of these covert groups that I thought would help, but they were heavily pension retirees. They were just annoyed with this. And again, I'm missing the freaking point. So I didn't stick around because I was trying to instigate some kind of like a freedom workforce. And one of them did start through Peggy Halls, the Healthy American, and it kind of fizzled out. And I never heard from them again. But this woman came with me, and she wouldn't drive because, well, she's heavily medicated. She's kind of addicted to prescription pills. And so she kept wanting to go. But what I noticed when she would go, she was like scanning the room for like more possible victims. That's what it looked like to me. Oh, Daniel, I forgot about that. How is your hand? Are you going to get used to that finger back? I hope you do. You guys are terrible. Oh, and did you hear what they're saying now? What is it? There is no such thing as biological sex. Jeez Louise, man, give it a rest already. It's bad enough we had an LGBT headquarters up in Kingston, New York, all these years. Painted the freaking road rainbow colors. Give me a break, people. You left him after he, yeah, left him after he smashed my car up a bit. Oh man, I would have beat him to a bloody pulp. But like Tegan would probably correct me. You can't do that to them because then they'll just have you arrested because that's what they're out for. Nothing but trouble. And headbutted me. What? Me trying to get me to get out of the car. I have never been that mofo, that dirty mofo. Um, yeah, and here's the thing. It's like that girl who was out west with that guy. I think it was in 2020. And he came back. He lived in this area. I don't know if anybody heard about that. This was a true case of narcissism. Um, this young couple, I think the cops had pulled them over somewhere out west. I think they were living out of their car and they were camping. It was in 2020, summer 2020. And then he comes back to the Hudson Valley. I think he lived in Poughkeepsie, New York, and she's not there. She's not with them. Okay, buddy, where is she? Well, I don't know, he says. And he was totally disconnected from the whole situation. Well, as it turned out, he offed her, and they eventually found her. And yeah, it can get to that point. Gabby Petito. Oh yes. Okay, there you go. We had another one like 10 years ago. It was girlfriend and boyfriend. We have a couple of companies in my town that will take people out kayaking on the Hudson River, which is a death wish to begin with because it's an international freight river under maritime law, and you better get out of the way. These guys are coming in from overseas, and they're not as big as the ones that you would see on Lake Erie or the St. Lawrence, but they're big. And so apparently they're kayaking over by Bannerman's Island, which was an old arsenal. I don't go over there anymore. I should do a video on it, though. I know somebody who can pilot me over. Um, it's in the Hudson River, and she somehow the end story was she somehow managed to tip his canoe and drown him, like he flipped over, and she held him there until he drowned. Now, when kayaks first started to hit the scene and sort of take over for the old town canoes, before you could buy one, and this is a fact, it's like 30 some years ago, you had to take a class. so that you could learn how to roll a kayak. I believe they might make them now so that they don't roll quite so much. But yeah, this girl, it was a mystery. It was under investigation for months, almost a year, I think. And then they finally figured out that I think she might have admitted to it, that she flipped him over in the kayak and drowned him. Uh, Anybody want to hear the boring story of why kayaks took over? I'm going to tell you. Friend of mine named Matt came down in the 1990s from the Adirondacks, and he came to work at the forest preserve here. Real cool guy. Learned a lot about wildlife from him. Learned a lot about loons about him because that was like his last. Oh, Monica said, "I need to go finish some work. I dropped in so I could handle Daniel. I have a lovely evening. I am off to enjoy my favorites, fruit and nuts. Love 'em." Oh, Monica, thank you so much for coming in. Have a great night. Can't wait to see you in Illinois, you and Mark together. So anyhow, I'm going to bore you with the story about the kayak. So Matt comes down and he's the assistant forest manager, and he's telling us that his family, most of the family's in Maine. He comes from no, not the Adirondacks. He comes from Maine, and they owned a family campground up there. Well, I'm not sure if it's still in effect. Another obscure law that most people don't hear about, but they did push it at the campgrounds in Maine at one time that you could not. It was illegal to go out on a Maine lake. And if anybody's seen on Golden Pond, you'd understand what I'm talking about, without a Maine guide, because the rocks, the water is so full of minerals, it's as dark as this. And if there's a rock right under the surface, you're not going to see it. And if you go out in a canoe, it's going to roll that canoe. So city people were coming up and they were having what did he say? Terrible. You guys are funny. So back to my main kayak story. So Matt said what was happening was city people were coming up. They were saying, "Oh, poo-poo, we don't need a Maine guide. We know everything. We're instant experts. We're just going to get a canoe and go out on the lake." Well, guess what? A lot of people drowned. So a lot of lawsuits started piling up. A lot of family campgrounds started to go out of business. So what they decided to do was kind of put the old town canoe aside because they couldn't force people. And, people didn't have the common sense to hire a Maine guide, and they didn't want to spend the money or whatever because, they were know-it-alls and instant experts. So they switched over to the canoe. Not the canoe. They switched over to the kayak because when you get on top of one of these rocks in the Maine waters up there, the kayak will just kind of slide off the side of it. The canoe will tip. Which I kind of actually find amazing. So that's why the kayak started to take over for the canoe. It became the trendy thing, but really it was done in Maine to help stop the lawsuits because of the drownings, because of the city people who thought they knew better, who wouldn't hire a Maine guide to take them through the Maine waters because they can be very dangerous. Now, I used to use a 15-foot canoe at a lake near here, and I used to take a long piece of rope and with a knot on the end of it out in the deep water and throw it out into the water, and I would dive off the canoe, and then I would climb back in. I couldn't flip that thing over to save my life. But I guess if you get a boulder underneath that water, that dark water, and I could see where the canoe would flip over. Or balance is a big thing in a canoe. If anybody's been out on one, it's a huge thing. I mean, you really have to have a great sense of balance in a canoe. You need to learn how to go with it. Let the canoe do its job. Hard to trap in a kayak. Damn right, Dan. Well, that's the thing, the canoe. Oh, you can't see my fire. I'm blocking it. Fire is a big part of this live stream. That's the star. The thing about a canoe is they're civilized. You can bring a cooler in there, full of food, some soda, beer. Kayak. A kayak, I tried a kayak, and I actually did take one of those tests about almost 40 years ago now, before, because I was going to buy one. I thought, okay, I'll check it out. Where you had to take this test to, um, before you could buy one, so that they knew that you were like certified where you could roll a canoe and not drown. And it was interesting, but as I'm sitting in it, I'm like, I feel like I'm sitting inside the water. In a canoe, you're sitting on top of the water. And I just like that so much better. But in the 15-foot canoe that I used to dive off of, my friend, I borrowed it from a friend, always had a leak in it. Um, it it was so big, and she lived in a cove. So when I paddled out of it, sitting in the rear, I would get out around the peninsula, and the prevailing western wind would spin me around. So I started sitting in the front of it. And I came back one day, and she said, I saw what you did, and you look like the biggest doofus on the lake. I said, yeah, but I got around that peninsula. So, yeah, paddling a canoe from the front worked out well for me. What did backwards have to say? Daniel says, you just explained the waters in Newfoundland. No one in Newfoundland swims because the ocean is too cold. Yeah, it's kind of like Rhode Island here. And the pond and lakes are too dark and low vision. Besides me, I swam in mud. I was my father taught us how to swim in a frog pond down the road from us on the mountain we used to live on. I don't really remember. I remember the frog pond, and I also remember catching the frogs there so that we could go fishing. Oh, take care, Daniel. Thank you for coming in. Have a good night. You know what? It's been 2 hours, everybody. I still have 6 people in here. You guys are fantastic. I think I had a total of 11 tonight. I'm so thrilled by it. So I have to say that I'm starting to get kind of cold, and I want to go into the house where it's toasty and warm. So, does anybody else have anything interesting to say before I sign off? Any questions? Ask me anything. I know it all. No, I'm just kidding. If I don't know it, I'm going to look it up, because that's my job. Well, it should be. My kids swim with frogs too. Yeah, and snakes. And you know what happened to me one time, Daniel? God, it was years ago. I was swimming at one of the ponds up on the mountain here in the forest preserve, and I see a snake coming across the surface of the water, and I'm thinking that I'm hoping it's a water snake, but they can be kind of cheeky. But I think it's copperhead. Well, sure enough, it was. So I started to swim back to the shore. Well, he was a lot faster than me. And basically, he had a pretty long distance to go, this copperhead. And he was looking for me like a log. And he was looking for a resting place. And I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Man, I never swam so fast in my life. And I got on the shore, and luckily the copperhead went over to the other side of the rock. But Mark is leaving. Good luck and stay safe. You got it, Mark. You got it. Go get them coyote. Whoops. Sorry you had to see that. I'm still kind of new. When do you plan the trap? Go for beaver. Yeah, I want to go for beaver. I also want to get a bunch of coyote out of the state forest that I hunt in. Um, like, I don't know if you heard me say it before, but I'm working on a career change that, fingers crossed, I'm going to work my ass off to make this happen. It's going to give me the time to totally commit and do trapping right. And in the meantime, I'm having a great time, eating my heart out, watching you guys do all the trapping. And it makes me kind of plan ahead. Where do I want to set up? Uh, where do I want to go? How do I want to do it? How, do I want to do I want to? Well, the first thing I'm going to do, like I said earlier, I joined the New York State Trappers Association and the Orange County Trappers Association, so I'll be able to talk Good night, Daniel. Take care. We don't have any venomous anything in Canada besides some black widows in southern BC. Really? Black widows up there? I thought that was a warm weather spider, but I guess not. You know, if they were at one time, they probably were hitchhikers or something. And then, network with those people, the Orange County Trappers Association, and find out what's actually going on over there. Because the last I heard about the state land that I hunt, either the trappers have moved away, retired, or died. And I think there's only one guy over there. So, and then, I want to talk to the ANCON cops, the environmental conservation cops over there, and see where we stand. And, Judith and Dan Davis, when you said that about the minks and the martins, and the stream that's right down the hill from me, man, I would love to trap it for that. But the problem is the PD around here, for the most part, they don't know the laws. They know what they know, but they don't know the hunting and the trapping laws. So, and I don't know a sheriff anymore. I used to. I had a great sheriff friend that I used to rely on for all the information I needed about things, but I think he's moved away or retired or died. I lost track of him. Oh, we're down to 3 now. All right, everybody. You know what? I'm going to call it a night. Everybody's been great. I had a good time, lots of good laughs. And thanks everybody for coming in. I'll see you on the next one. Everybody take care. And again, Happy New Year.